SOS, Small Business Success Podcast, where we're all about building brands for you to survive and developing you so that you can thrive. And today we're going to be talking about thriving over. As always, thanks for joining me. I'm your host, Bonado, and I kind of play the role of a speaker, coach, author, and podcaster, but I also am the marketing director for Intrigue Salon in Atlanta, Georgia. And it's my fiance's salon. And in 2020, he said, help, we need some help. We got to figure this out. And I jumped on board with him to be able to help him with his business during the pandemic and the transition that we're doing. And one of the programs that I had just launched just prior to 2020 rolling out was a program called Thrive Over Survive. And I'm going to introduce it to you. It's a little bit of a different version today here in 2021 than it was in 2019, and certainly than it was in 2020. But I'm going to introduce it to you and share a little bit about the insights of how this program can impact your bottom line and just your confidence level. And so let's talk a little bit about that. But first, as always, I like to kind of define these words that I'm using, because remember, words have power. And the power behind the words is truly understanding the impact that they have on us and that they have on others, okay? So if we look at survive defined, it says to continue to live or exist, especially in spite of danger or hardship, right? So we could say that if we're surviving, we're aware that there is danger and hardship around, and we can all attest to that with the pandemic. So 2020 and even to today, we're living, surviving in spite of danger and hardship, okay? But there's a crossover point where we have to be able to say, I know what I'm doing and I don't want to be in survival mode anymore. I want to get to the point where I can thrive. And thrive defined is to grow or develop well or vigorously, to prosper and flourish. And I would think that we'd all want to be there. Which one sounds more appealing to you, right? Surviving or thriving. And yet both today are a reality. We can't be in that space of saying, oh, we don't need to be in survival mode anymore, because every day brings some new nuances and some new episodes and some new circumstances that we might have to step back into surviving in order to thrive again. So it's evergreen right now. And we do have to trust that both are reality at this point. And you guys have heard that, if we're in survival mode and we're trying to get into thriving mode, one of the things that stops us from making that transition is just fear. And you've heard this expression where it's like fear is kind of defined in an acronym of false evidence appearing real. And there's truth to that, right? So false evidence appearing real, because sometimes, especially with today's, mass media, social media, all of those things, the information that's being shared is millions times faster than it was 20 years ago. And so we have a tendency to maybe not do our own due diligence, believe what's being said. There's a lot of mixed messages out there. There's a lot of controversy out there. So this false evidence appearing real, unless we do our own due diligence, we don't really know. But then there's the fact that it is real. Okay, fear is real. So, if you're swimming in the ocean and you're afraid of sharks, there are sharks in the ocean. This is truth, right? That you can still have a fear of sharks and still swim in the ocean. If your fear is beyond, if it's an extensive fear, then you're probably not going to be somebody that's going to swim in the ocean, right? But we know this to be true. And so we sometimes will be like, well, I swim in the ocean all the time and I've never seen a shark there, but I don't believe I'm going to get bit by a shark type of thing. And of course, now we have all these drones that are being flying over these surfers and swimmers in these beach areas. But we also have to know that that's their territory, right? That may not be false evidence appearing real, that there might really be sharks. But from another perspective of emotional intelligence, one of the things that we know to be true is that the way that we're hardwired is that we have this instinct, and this instinct shows up first and allows us to react. And then we can logically put some sense around it, okay? So no matter how smart, how intelligent, how evolved we become as human beings, we still have this part of our brain that says fight or flight or freeze, okay? Still part of our brain that stops us and sets us on a path that says, you're in danger, you're not safe right now, or you need to be fearful of something. And with everything going on over 2020 and 2021, we have a lot of pent up fear and anxiety and overwhelm attached to us right now. And certainly if we're small business owners, you can just add a whole nother layer to all of this, okay? So I wanna kind of fill you in on, if we're looking at fear stopping us from going from surviving to thriving, then I put together this philosophy here. It's called the Cube, and it's spelled like Q-U-B-E, okay? And I want you to imagine that you're looking at four, a square divided into four. And in these squares, in these four squares is this quotient opportunity here. So let's say in the top square, it's emotional quotient. Okay. So ways that we need to be emotional intelligent. And then the other top square, it's intellectual intelligence. So, IQ as we all know it. And then in the bottom square, it's TQ, technical quotient. Okay. What skills do we have that provide opportunities for us? And then the final square on the bottom is social quotient. And all of those in a blend, in a mix, and not maybe the same percentage, but all of those we have to be able to have access to. We have to trust that when we have all four of those in some capacity, that we have this balance, that we can go from surviving to thriving. And ultimately, what I like to do in the programs that I offer, like Thrive Over Survive, is I like to put a focus on two very specific areas, and that's the EQ, okay, the emotional intelligence, because that's where we have to be able to look at what's stopping us. Not what else do I need to learn to go from A to Z, but what's stopping me from even believing I can get from A to Z. And that falls into an emotional intelligent part, okay? And then the other square, which would be the SQ, the social quotient. And the reason why social quotient is so important is because we're in the people business. As a coach, a salon owner, all of us are in the people business. And so we have to really get good at not only being emotionally intelligent, but socially intelligent as well. So the EQ and the SQ. Now, not to say that IQ is not important and not to say that TQ is not important. Obviously, the more we learn about emotional intelligence, social intelligence, technical intelligence, the more we will be intelligent overall, the more the higher our IQ will be in regards to all those. But because we're in the people business, the emotional intelligence and the social quotient, EQ, SQ, are the ones that we really need to focus on. So we're going to take this now, we're going to look at the SOMME strategy for success. And I call this the SOMME anchor. Survival is, I say save our salons. I say strategic opportunities equals success. And all of those things make sense. And as a matter of fact, one of my friends who I adore posted something on Facebook today, and she said that results lie in execution, not solutions and strategy. And I agree with that, but I also believe that if you're just executing things without thought, without intelligence, without some technical know-how behind it, then that execution may fail. So there still has to be solution. Why? Why do we need this? Why do other people need this? Why do I need to be spending any of my time doing this? And strategy. How am I going to do it? Is it going to make an impact for people? So I don't disagree with her, but I don't agree completely with that statement that she shared on there. All right, so let's look at these SOMME anchors here. So sales, operation, mindset, marketing, and education. All of those require some execution, but all of those require some strategy. And you'll see how some of them layer on top of each other in order for that strategy to have traction, okay? Executionable traction in there. So the first one is sales. Now, sales is a transaction, and it requires a person to say yes, okay? Not a bot, not a machine, okay? Not technology. Sales requires a person to say yes. Now, a person can sell, but also technology can help you sell. AI and automation can help you sell, but the only person at the end of the day that's going to buy is a person. Okay, so now maybe that's not going to necessarily be the case in the future, but right now it is. So we have to be able to have a strategy around why we're selling, what we're selling, and who we're selling it to. And then we have to train our staff, if we're owners, we have to train our staff to be able to understand this sales process so that it keeps the wheel in motion here. Now, operations would be then that next step here where we're talking about getting the systems and the leadership that guide sales to convert to a transaction. Okay. Operations is system and leadership that guides sales to convert to a transaction. Now, and then remember, your people are doing the selling along with technology, along with AI and automation, right? But person can do operations, technology can do operations, AI and automation can do operations. Okay, you can have things set up in place that keep sales in motion. You know, I think we're all under this impression that we're in the business of beauty and that we're in the business of doing hair and cutting hair and coloring hair, but we're in the business to sell beauty. And we sell beauty with the tools called cutting hair, coloring hair, smoothing hair, curling hair, okay? Putting on eyelashes, making the skin look good, adding makeup, okay? Those are the tools that we're doing. But the truth is we need sales and operations to be able to support that in there. All right, so then in the third SOMME anchor is mindset. A mindset is your behavior or beliefs that keep the operations intact for the sales to be in action. So if you don't believe that you can grow your business, then it's quite possible you won't grow your business. If you don't believe that you have the knowledge, the technical skills, the money, the resources to buy into operational systems to help you grow your business, then you may in fact not be able to grow your business. Now, you could say, but I'm doing fine right now. I have a full book of clients and I don't need those things. Okay. But that doesn't make it sustainable for you. If you listen to my podcast from last week where I talk about the E-myth, and I'm sharing with you that, listen, to be an entrepreneur, you also have to wear the manager hat and the technician hat. But if you're only wearing the technician hat, doing the transaction, doing the thing that creates a transaction, not planning for more people to buy into the transaction, then you're going to burn out. And we know that this is the case with our industry right now because we're in a supply and demand position. Okay. Part of it is we lost an enormous amount of people into the workforce in 2020 and 2021. Part of it is that, that moms are having to be home with their kids because of this virtual learning environment due to the pandemic. Okay. Part of it is that a lot of people went independent and then they failed or they burned out. Not everybody's going to succeed as an entrepreneur. And like anything, it's an 80-20 rule. 20% of you are going to really do well and figure all of this out. The other 80%, you're going to just keep like being on that wheel and spinning and spinning and spinning because you're not going to take the time to understand a sales process. You're not going to take the time to get operations systems and leadership in place. Your mindset is probably telling you that there's no point in doing it. You're not going to get any bigger. What's next for you? You don't have money to expand or grow or scale type of thing, right? So is there a fear that's holding you back from having this action be in place and always working for you? That's your mindset. And then of course, marketing is sales with a plan that you execute to action that supports the people. Okay. You market a sales approach so that you can execute an action that supports the people. So you can market all day long about your business. But really what people want to know is they want to know something about you and they want to know about something about your services and your products. So market you first, market services and products second, market your business third. In other words, your business should be kind of like a foundational background part of how you market, not necessarily what you market, okay? Because it's like, I don't really care about Target. Target doesn't spend all this time in their commercials marketing how great Target is. Target shares with you all of the resources that are available at Target so you can come in and make a transaction, okay? Buy what you need to make your life better. It's the same thing. So you want to make sure it's you, services and products, and then your business here. Now, from a marketing standpoint, we can't argue the fact that word of mouth is still probably one of the best forms of advertising, but in a pandemic and where we're social distancing, we're not out and about as much, word of mouth is a difficult approach to marketing, but it can be done human to human. And we know that that makes the greatest impact in there. So what's second from a marketing standpoint, if you can't be human to human? Reviews. Okay, testimonials, reviews, case studies, whatever it is that your business is offering, those would be the second best thing to be able to have. It's kind of like word of mouth, but it's in an online format. So now I'm automating or creating opportunities for my marketing to work with me 24/7, that I'm not having to put time, energy, money, and resources in every day, every minute type of thing. Social media, automation, these are all things that are going to make the marketing piece of your business so much easier. We're getting overwhelmed with what everybody just considers social media to be marketing, but there's so much more behind marketing than just social media. And again, this is where I'm going to kind of like poke at my friend's post that she did, results lie in execution. Yes, true. But just to be posting on social media and thinking that that's an execution that's going to get you results is false. Okay. That is not true. There has to be kind of a strategy, a plan. You have to be solutions driven in order for people to respond to it, emotionally connected, because we're doing all of this online now. And it's 10 times harder to create a sale online than it is person to person. Okay. Trust is built immediately person to person. Trust is not built online. As a matter of fact, trust is getting more and more difficult to do online. So if you're struggling to grow your business, if you're struggling to get new help or new clients into your business, we really need to look at your sales, your operations, your mindset, and your marketing. And then that's where it kind of ties into the fifth and final anchor, which is education. Now, of these four areas, which one does fear show up for you in? Is it sales? Is it operations, mindset, marketing? Which one is kind of like that? Oh, I don't have what it takes to do this, or I don't know enough about it, or I don't want to be a salesperson. I just wanted to do hair, or, I don't think it's my mindset, but it could be because, I've never had a level of success that I've been able to gain at this point. I just keep getting stuck in this same pattern. So what education do you need to support growth for you? And if you grow, your business grows. If you grow, your business grows. Okay. So are you ready to thrive? That's what I want to ask you. Are you ready to thrive? Say yes, say yes, say yes, because we want to be able to get to the sum of your success. Right. And I want you to think about this, are you tired of being frustrated? Yeah. Are you tired of struggling? Yes. Are you overwhelmed? Beyond overwhelmed. And are you overworked? Yeah. Like most of my salon accounts are struggling, frustrated, overwhelmed, and overworked because they're having to be very hands-on with their business, where maybe they were able to pull back as an owner pre-COVID, and now they're having to step in and kind of rebuild, revise, restructure things within their business. Okay. And in the course of this, in 2019, this program was really focused around marketing, because I felt that a lot of people really didn't understand that the digital presence their business needed to have. So I focused a lot of this program on marketing. In 2020, when I did this program, I had to focus it a lot on safety, policies and procedures, client communications, PPP loans, PPP forgiveness loans. And it kind of like, it was morphed into where people needed the most support at that moment. Now, kind of in 2021, and I've let it sit until this point, because I wanted to make sure that this program actually has worth and value for you. Okay. So I want you to say yes to this program. I want you to say yes to thriving over surviving, because remember, your business is waiting for you to grow. And what you're going to do is you're going to go to sosthrive.com. SOSthrive.com. Now, here's what it's about. It is a 12-week program. It's live and online. So we're going to meet on Zoom, and we're going to connect as a small group, and we're going to do weekly group sessions. And the group sessions are broken into a little bit of content, a lot of Q&A, and an opportunity for one or two people to get some live coaching in that moment based on what they're struggling or frustrated with at that time. We're going to focus on the SOMME strategy, and we're going to look at each person as, where do you need to get the support? So maybe some people it's marketing, maybe others it's sales. We're going to be able to focus with you individually, but as a group as well, and help you to be able to understand this next layer of execution that you need to start taking on. I'm going to share with you the ACT method, which is awareness, client acquisition and retention, and then talent recruitment, because those are the three things that salons are struggling with right now. They don't know I exist in my community. I need to sell more to the clients I have, or I need to find new clients, or I absolutely need more staff in order to, survive and get to thriving point here. Again, based on the cube that I shared with you earlier, it's going to be EQ and SQ based. So we're going to really talk a lot about emotional quotient, and we're going to talk about the social quotient, because those two things together is the power of words, the power of connecting. Okay. And I'm really strive for people to have targeted results, to be able to see the difference that they're making over time. Now, the group itself is very interactive. But one of the things that you get with this program is 3 one-on-one sessions with me over this 3 months, okay? So each month we'll set up a one-on-one call, and that one-on-one call will be to be able to build your strategy for the next 90 days. All right, so we're going to work together in the first 90 days and try on things, play with things. And then we're going to put together a plan that's going to be for you the next 90 days. So it's live group, but you get some one-on-one time with me as well. Now, the program tuition is 3 payments of $350. So $350 a month. You get me every week for an hour, and you get me once a month for an hour for a strategy call. So it's not a lot of investment of time. It's not a lot of investment of money. Whatever you put into it after that. So let's say that you spend an hour a week with me in the sessions, and then you take an hour to yourself. It's 2 hours a week that you're going to devote to getting your business out of survival mode and into thrive mode. Okay. Now, this program starts on October 25th. And I strategically started it in October, because what I want you to be able to do is I want you to get through October, November, and January together. Okay. So and I know we've got the holidays, and I know you're going to be like, oh, I'm busy during the holidays, I don't have time to do this. But we're going to focus in on a holiday campaign. We're going to focus in on saying, hey, clients, you need to be spending more money with us as a small business. So we're going to look at retail campaigns, service campaigns, client retention campaigns, new client campaigns during this whole time, because it's the most abundant time to be able to do these types of programs in here. The other reason why I started on October 25th is because I want you to have something going into the new year that you now feel confident with. So when you roll out of this program after the 12 weeks, it'll be the middle of January. And at that point in the middle of January, we'll have spent some one-on-one time together to be able to put together your strategy plan for the next 90 days. So come 2022, you're going to be ready to rock and roll. You're going to have a strategy plan ready to go so that you can win going into 2022. Now, do I foresee a lot of differences in regards to the pandemic for 2022? No. But do I foresee an opportunity for small businesses to be able to kind of like step into a very strategic in real life and digital approach to being able to get past surviving, go to thriving? Absolutely. Okay. So you're going to go to sosthrive.com, and you're going to sign up for this program from that page there. Okay. Very easy. Once you sign up, be sure to look out for emails from me, Bonnie at bonniebonadeo.com, because then I'm going to provide you the information, where we're going to meet, what days, times, the whole works, so that you have access to being able to really play full out with this program. Now, here's some of the things that I'm sure you're thinking right now, and I want to kind of like cover them while we have the minute. All right. 12 weeks, that's too long. I don't want to commit to that. Right. But I can promise you that if it was one webinar, you might take one thing out of it and then implement something, but then you're going to forget about it. Or you might be looking at it like, oh, I just don't want it to happen over the course of my busy time type of thing. Well, all the more reason, because we're going to talk about how the busy time is the most fruitful time for you to have a strategy in place. And you might say, well, that's too many sessions. I can't commit to meeting every week. Well, it's okay. I understand that not everybody's going to be able to join us every week for 12 weeks. I'm going to be there every week for 12 weeks. Okay. But there'll be recorded sessions that you'll be able to go back and listen to if you happen to miss a week or two. All right. You can go back and listen to the recorded session. So I get that not everybody's going to be available on every single session. And you're probably thinking, well, it's just not the right time. I'd rather wait till the first of the year. But by the time you wait till the first of the year, we're already into the first quarter's over with, and we're already into the second quarter. And then it's harder to play catch up. And we don't have the abundant timeline of the last part of the year to really be able to work with. Some of you might be saying it's just not the right day for me. Again, you can listen to the recorded sessions, but I'm going to ask you to commit to something that could actually change the way you're doing business and the way that your business is perceived and the way that your team is within your business. I'm going to ask you to commit, okay? And some of you might be saying, listen, $350 a month for 3 months, that's too much, right? It's $350 a month, okay? I know you're spending that more on other miscellaneous things and maybe not on your business. I also know that if you think you don't have it, commit anyway, because I promise you we're going to bring in more than $1,000 into your business with the ideas, the resources, the time that you're going to invest into this. So what I'm asking you to do is say yes anyway. All right. Say yes anyway. Now, it's not going to be a big group, so I'm really taking this time to be able to share with you because I think you're the right person for this. Now, if you want to be able to kind of go into, well, what is this all about? I want to find out a little bit more. Of course, you can go to sosthrive.com and you can go to the website page and find out a little bit more about it. But if you really want to dive into it a little bit more, I want you to take this survey. And this survey is focusing in on these SOMME anchors. Okay. So the sales, operation, mindset, marketing, and education. And it's going to ask you a few questions of where you think you need the support with it. And then that's how your strategy plan is going to be pieced together. So if you're interested in doing the survey, you can go to sossalonsurvey.com. sossalonsurvey.com. You did the survey, and then they'll prompt you an opportunity to either set up a free call with me or provide you more information about the SOS Thrive Over Survive package and have you join us here. Now, all of this coaching, all of this SOS program and this brand that I put together is about building brands that survive while developing you to thrive. And ultimately, I believe that we all have this opportunity to grow because right now we're in a supply and demand. So high demand for our products and services, high demand for our skill sets and our craft. But remember, survival is fleeting. You have to be, we don't know what's coming around the corner. And I want you to be a business that is on solid ground here or anchored firmly so that you can continue to keep growing because survival is fleeting. All right. Thanks everybody for joining me today. You have questions, you can always email me at bonnie@bonniebonadeo.com. Look forward to meeting you. All right. Thanks for joining me.